All right, put this on silent. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and those of you who are not sure. Welcome to Let's Talk. I'm your host, Jason, with my co-host,
Just Cheryl.
Just Cheryl with the bright red on this evening. And here at Let's Talk, we like to talk about issues that matter to you. We try to come up with workable, practical solutions where we have more action and less talk. And last week we got into a lot of talk. We didn't get around to the solutions. So this evening we will get around to some solutions where we have some action plan for you people out here. But before we even get into that, the topic last week was strong, independent women, fact or fiction. Do they exist? Cheryl asked me if they exist. I said I think they do exist. And she was appalled by my answer.
No, I wasn't.
Because she said,
I expected
really,
that.
Jason? Oh, you expected that?
Of course. Because you know, there are many strong, independent women in your life, and you know that. So, I didn't expect anything else.
Really? Now, like I said, I like words, and I like to go on meaning of words. And like I said, the word independent to me means it doesn't need anything else. It doesn't rely on anything else. And as humans, that doesn't apply to humans. So when I hear women saying, I'm an independent woman, you know what, I'd be like, really? Do you really sustain yourself? Mm-hmm. Are you really self-sustaining? Mm-hmm. Wow. Only one power I know that's self-sustaining. Mm-hmm. You know,
but Jason, we broke it down and we said that, yes, it was from the financial perspective. It's not my meaning, it's the meaning that's acceptable worldwide. You're the only one who's on the outskirts of the understanding of this basic principle. I'm not sure what's going on, but I think you'll get it eventually.
No.
I have faith in you.
my definition, or I think a better description of these women is resourceful, go-getters. Mm-hmm. They know how to get the job done. But I wouldn't call them independent. You know, because that isn't a true description if we go on by the words, meaning of words. Now, we're in this new generation where we just go ad hoc, you know, we just shoot off the hip and just give our own meanings and fine. If you won't be part of that Gen Z, you know, and just give meaning to yourself, then
that's what independent woman is. But the thing is, the difference, though, there's a difference between women who are independent and women who go around saying, I don't need a man. So let's not get that confused, because that there is totally false. That is false. That is a fiction. There's no way. We need men. Women, we need men. We need men for a variety of reasons, and it doesn't even have anything to do with. It doesn't have to have anything to do with finances. It doesn't have to have anything to do with romance either. But we all need men in our lives.
Most definitely.
So we could never say. And even the women who are independent, because you can be independent and have there's a use for men in your life. There are certain things that you would require, whether it could be a paid service if it's getting your car maintained. Jason, I'm not sure what the laugh is about, and I'm going to report you to Pastor Kyle, because I sense it's nothing.
So I remembered something from last week. That's what it was funny.
So I'm talking about, yes, we need for car services, mechanical things that they can do, lifting of heavy equipment, things like that. So those women would
not
need
even
men
advice.
For those advice.
Yeah, you don't need a man for advice.
No.
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 Wow, that's powerful. Women don't.
You can want other perspectives on things, but
so they only need men for physically. So the only time a man may be necessary from a woman is physical stuff then.
No, I'm talking
Wow.
about women who are quote unquote independent. I'm not
No,
speaking
I'm
from my
speaking
personal.
about all women.
Oh, all women.
Independent, dependent. You see, and you gave the examples of why a man may be
If
needed.
you have a son, you definitely need advice from a man.
So
you
only
have
if she has a son.
If you have a son.
Only if she has a son.
That is
That's
my
the only time
opinion
she
on
would need
that. I'm not
advice.
speaking for
Wow.
all women,
Wow.
but that's my
Yes.
opinion on that.
Wow, this is powerful.
If she's a
This
single
is
and
powerful.
someone who's taking care of herself financially.
So
yes.
a man can't give advice to a woman on how a man should be treated, or what a man wants, or how a man is
Jason,
thinking.
I am not saying any of that. You asked me if she needs, and I said the word need would
Yes.
be the game changer in that sentence for me.
She does need
Now,
advice from a man when it comes to things.
Why are you
all things
asking me
pertaining
questions
men.
if you're going to come around and tell
Because
me what
I was
the answer
hoping that
is?
you would have real
You can
independent
hope all
woman
you
to tell
want. I
me.
already gave you my answer, and it's not going to change no matter how much you hope, Jason.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
not Santa Claus.
Okay. Okay. But as you see, folks, pardon our manners. We jumped right
Yes.
into it. We jumped right into it without giving you the numbers. I mean, but you should know it by now. 352-TALK, 352-8255. We'd be glad to have you join in this conversation. You could join in with Cheryl and just beating me over the head and just berating me. You know, I could take it. I got broad shoulders as man. Or you could just drop a comment in the chat and we'd read it off live if you don't mind. So back to Cheryl now. Says they don't need man. They only need man for advice when it comes to our little boys, and they only need the man when some heavy lifting or something needs to fix. Wow. This is
Is that
powerful.
what we're talking about today?
We talk about independent women.
I don't think. Well,
And he
based
said this is
on-
why women need men.
What?
And I was like, wow.
I thought we were just talking about your intro. We were going into the meat of what we're talking
Okay,
about tonight.
we
is
talking. Let's talk.
Types of independent
Let's
women
talk.
and how.
Yeah, that's right.
And how it affects relationships.
Mind you, that's where it was
and
going
other
until I
aspects
heard
of
your
their lives.
That's where we were headed until I heard your definition of
Yeah,
when
let's
men are
head there.
necessary.
Let's
And
head
I was
there.
like,
That
wow.
was that was my
Wow.
take on that as I view independent women. And I don't know, Jason, are you around a lot of so-called independent women? Because I'm
around a lot of go-getters, a lot of resourceful women. I would not class them as independent. I would not,
okay.
even if they
well, maybe
call
that is
themselves
the
independent.
problem because
I would say you aren't
would view it
independent.
differently. You would view it differently if you were a woman.
Oh,
I think you would. Yes, I think you would.
maybe I would.
I
Maybe
think
I would.
I think you would.
I agree with you. If I was a woman, I would definitely agree with you.
Hmm?
If I was a woman, I would definitely agree with you because women's minds work differently. Yours operate
If
on
you
a
were
different
as-
spectrum,
yes.
you know. And so I definitely
No comment
I
on that.
definitely would agree with you. I don't think so though. I'm sure a woman would call in and
I
disagree
don't
with
think
you.
so either.
I retain all my manliness, even if I
Please, yes.
but so we were talking about independent women, and we were talking about some women who are independent by choice, and some women who are independent who are forced to being called or forced to view themselves as being independent. Now, like I said, I still go on record saying that I would not call them independent
Okay.
because they still would depend on something. And like I said last show, you don't hear men saying, I'm an independent man. And for the mere fact that we know we depend on other things. We depend on other men. I don't know if we depend on women. We need women. No, we want women for other things. But I wouldn't go as far as say we depend on them. But, you know, some women, women are forced into being, categorizing themselves as being independent because some of the reasons you gave last week. You know, maybe she was married, there's a death. You know, some financial crisis hit her family, would force her into that role where she had to now step up and play and be that go-getter, that independent woman. And then you have some out there who just trying to stick it to the man. I don't need y'all. I'm independent. I don't need y'all for nothing. And they call themselves independent. So they have different categories. And our caller brought that up to our attention. And tonight's show was supposed to be about that. The two different classes. And then what... You're drawing something. I smell some smoke, which means your brain's turning. Your wheels turning in the mind. What's
I'm just
going on,
trying to
Sharon?
make sense of what you're saying.
Oh, wow.
It doesn't take much effort.
Wow. Go ahead.
No, yeah, the different categories. Yeah, I understand. I do understand that. But I know what one of the things that the caller mentioned, I wanted to allude to that, about women who choose to be independent even after they're in a relationship. And I think that's the cause of a lot of issues. I think women, we have to understand that there's a difference between individuality and independence when you're in a relationship. And I think sometimes women try to keep their individuality. But if the individuality doesn't bring harmony to the relationship, then there's an issue, and that's something that has to be discussed from the jump.
Most
So
definitely.
I think that's a big issue when women claim, and I think a lot of what's going to come up when we talk about something like this is women trying to hold on to what they think is important to them, what they think is a part of what makes them who they are, how they act, where they go, how they dress, who they associate with. And a lot of time these things may bring issue, and I think sometimes, I mean, it does bring issue for the other side too, for men. But I guess because we're talking about women today, I think these are some of the issues, some of the things that cause conflicts in relationships when women try to say, okay, don't tell me how to dress, don't tell me where to go, don't tell me who to talk to, don't tell me what time to come home, don't, ask me what time. I'm not a child. I am my own woman, and I think I can do this, even within within a relationship, the confines of a relationship. And I thought, well, this is some of the things that we'll talk about tonight for sure.
Most definitely. And guys, we're looking to hear from you on this, and this touchy topic, and this right here, it's going to be a little divide in this. I can feel it. I feel it.
Well, of
I feel
course, once Jason here,
I feel something
definitely
coming over. I feel something to pull.
Yeah, Jason
so
is a
strong on one
mathematician.
side,
The only
right?
thing he does is divide.
I multiply.
Oh, you yes. Okay, not wrong show, Jason.
So-
okay, but
so-
definitely we need to hear from our viewers on this one, especially the females. I'd love to hear what how females feel about this as it relates to being in a relationship. And I know that.
Yeah, so we will dive deeper into this topic when we get back from this commercial break. So stick with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Hey, listen, we can have a bloopers section, a bloopers reel.
No.
For Let's Talk at some point, because
No.
the conversation that's going on behind the scenes. Listen, hilarious. So it's out there. Okay. And they coming out shooting, and I love it.
Are we calling? What is
Yeah,
on the
go ahead.
screen? Yes. Ariel Aaliyah says, "No, you don't need a man for advice."
I wonder why she
That's-
where she gets that from.
That's a very. Okay, we have another comment. By Jason's definition, no one is completely independent. They go to men, mechanics, barbers, etc.
Correct.
Right,
Nobody's independent.
but we're not going by Jason's definition. Priska says lesbian women and others don't agree that all women need a man. Okay, I guess
so-
that's against the comment I would have made.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
yes, that's true. J.
J.
John
John
says you
says-
need the advice of a man for a balanced perspective.
And that's what I
Well,
was getting at.
Advice or opinion, I don't know, because if you're just
Advice.
looking for perspective, then
Advice,
you don't
Cheryl.
need it.
Check
if
it
you're
out.
looking, if
Check
you're
it
looking
out.
for,
Okay.
if you're looking for advice, that means you need someone to assist you in into having
Helping
a
with the
different,
opinion.
a different perspective on what you're looking at.
So you
Now,
can
if-
imagine now,
the
Cheryl, you
advice-
just speaking to women
Uh-huh.
on every topic and only getting a woman's perspective on
Perspective.
everything. Think about that.
No, what I would say is, some women would want a man's advice or a man's perspective, but because you use the word need, and that's why I said I don't know that women would say, okay, I need a man's advice, but I personally would want a man's advice or a man's perspective. But I was looking at that from a general perspective.
Okay,
To say,
okay.
I don't know
Maybe
if
need
everyone
may be
would
a
say,
strong word.
and that's
maybe
why.
need may be a strong word. 'Cause
And I
there are
did say
few
that was
things
a
in
game changer in that.
Very few things in life you need, right? Because when I say need, that means it's life dependence.
Right.
So I guess need may have been a strong word, but a wise person would want both perspectives, right?
Okay, that's
Oh,
fair.
Okay, that's it for, okay, Prisca,
Say men don't need women. Stop it.
I'm telling you, again, a need,
Yes.
we just clarified, need.
Okay, so then
We
women,
want women.
Oh, you want, but
We
women
want.
need men.
No, that's
men
what I said,
just
that's what I
want-
said.
So we'll go
That's
on
why I
record
just-
by
that's why I
saying
just
both
went back.
women want men and men want women.
And then I go on record, I say yes, and I go on record and say women would have a stronger want for men than men would have a stronger want for women. Because if you look at the list on what a man would want to glean from a woman, then do another list from what a woman would probably need to get from a man, I think your list would be a little higher than what we'd want from y'all.
I really don't think so.
We can leave it right there. Go ahead.
Because you,
Nancy Davis says, I just have to listen. I'd have to have my own program. I just have to listen. I'd have to have my own program.
I'm not sure what.
So,
Okay.
So, back to piggyback, just to touch on when you mentioned the independent women and these relationships. If you want to retain all of this my way and my this and my that, why get in a relationship at all?
Okay. I think though persons or people in general are supposed to be able to have some form of individuality.
Yes.
I don't think anybody wants to be, I wouldn't say control. Well, let me just use the word controlled. I don't think anybody wants to be controlled in a relationship. So there should be some kind of freedom. And a lot of times it's not what is said, it's how things are said and the intentions behind it. Because sometimes things don't really make a big difference, but because it is what we're used to, it is what we expect from the other person. And male and female are alike in those instances. If it's something that you're used to, if it's something, it maybe for some reason that's what you grow up thinking, that how a woman is supposed to dress, how a woman is supposed to act, what time a woman is supposed to be home, just certain things. I think sometimes if the other person is not used to that and it's not affecting the relationship, then certain demands are not necessary.
Okay, point taken, fair enough. But you said, and how it's given and said and all that. Don't you think sometimes it's how it's received as well?
Yes, definitely.
Because
definitely.
I could have all the best intentions in the world, but because you already have that mindset,
Defensive.
yeah, you came out of a bad one, so now you come up with your guards up, and here I'm saying, whatever it is I say, and now you take it the wrong way, and you make it into something that it wasn't, because that's how you perceive it, because you are not going to be controlled as if somebody's trying to control you. So you be like, you come up with your guard up. So that type of person isn't any good to anybody. They're claiming I'm strong and I'm independent. They can't handle me. No, nobody wants to handle you. And why should you be handled?
Right.
You know, you're an adult.
Right.
Why you gotta be handled?
Right.
You know, you mature human being. Use your words. You know, don't let your emotions run you. You know, and just try to see it from somebody else's perspective, rather than taking it as he's trying to control me. Because a lot of women use that terminology. He trying to control me, whereas everybody needs boundaries, right?
Right.
And boundaries are set up mostly to protect somebody. But if you view it as a control rather than as a protection, you then gonna have a negative outcome. Rather than saying he's trying to protect me from being in a dangerous situation, oh, he's trying to control me.
Okay. Here's the thing. Boundaries are only set up for protection when they're put in place when you're both inside. That's at the beginning of a relationship. That's when you set up boundaries.
You should set them up.
Yes. Now it's almost impossible to start setting up boundaries or putting things in place once you're halfway there or in a relationship. And I think that's the biggest problem. A lot of us, when we notice things in the beginning, things that we consider are non-negotiable, and we still, instead of commenting on it, instead of approaching the issue or dealing with it, we let it slide and we let it slide and we let it slide, and then later on when we can't take it anymore, and a lot of times we don't even address things when we have clear heads, it's when you get angry and you're talking about something else, and this thing that's a pet peeve or something that that you're angry about from some time ago, you just add that on to whatever it is you're
opportunity to
right
bring it up.
To talk. So by then the person feels attacked. And sometimes even in a situation like that, the best of intentions or something that you really that means a lot to you is not addressed properly and not received properly because it's not dealt with at the right time. And even, well, timing is usually the most important when it comes on to things like this. And I think that's a big part of the problem when people don't address things at the beginning.
Correct, but sometimes you come into the situation and you're giving this person benefit of the doubt, because you can't come out setting no boundaries or just right off the start. You're really a pair. You're a pair.
I'm not talking about when you're dating. No, when you decide you're going to be in a relationship, then you have to say, well, these are what your expectations are. Even before you get serious, you need to say what your expectations and what your boundaries are.
Okay. So that's fair, but do you think this woman is receptive to boundaries being placed?
What woman?
This woman, this strong, independent woman, is she receptive to boundaries being placed on her?
Yes, you can have. I don't know what woman you're talking about, Jason.
You said strong, independent women. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, some independent women can have. Of course, you can have boundaries in a relationship because you're setting boundaries together. It is not you against him or him against you. You're setting the boundaries for both of your relationship. That is for a healthy relationship for both of you.
Right. I said, okay, she'll set boundaries for him because he doesn't know her boundaries, right? She has to say, this is my giving, this is yes. Right. And that's what I'm saying. Is the strong, independent woman receptive?
She is no longer an independent woman if she's going to be in a relationship. When you're in a relationship, there's no room for independence. There is room for individuality, like I would have mentioned before. Right. And there is a difference. And like I said, this will come out in conversation. There is no room for independence if you are going to tie yourself to someone else.
So we on the same page. Now, but you may have some women who feel, like you said, the woman who's saying, you can't tell me what to do, what to wear, where to go, who to talk to, how much money to spend. This is happening now in relationships.
Yeah, it is.
And I know that in our callers now, our viewers, none of our viewers act like that. But you have some women like that in marriages as well. And those type are really, what is a taboo word? Toxic women.
Okay, let's talk about why do women feel that way?
To be independent?
Why do women?
Oh, I'm not a woman. I don't know. You tell me. You tell me.
You've heard it before. Why do you think women feel that way?
I tell you why I think.
Why do you think?
Because they feel they have something to prove. See, it's some of them may have had to depend on a man for something, and the man didn't come through with it. So now they have to prove to the man, I don't need him. Maybe he didn't come through by choice. He may have said no. And now I got to prove to him, I don't need him for this. I can get it myself. I'm independent. I'm strong. I'm independent. I don't need him. I don't need him for advice. I don't need him for things. So I'm strong and independent.
Well, she may not need him, yes. And I think it could be habit.
But she's in a relationship.
That's what I'm saying. It could be, that's the habit. That's what she's used to. She's used to doing whatever she wants whenever she wants. And now that she is in a relationship, she has to get out of that mentality. And
she shouldn't try to keep that.
Yes, she has to get out of the mentality, but I think it's going to require patience from whoever she's going to be with.
Why?
What do you
Why?
mean why? Because
Why?
habits don't die right away.
Wait a minute. See, when a guy has red flags,
Uh-huh.
I tell him, hey,
It's-
you see that red flag? Roll out.
No, it's
Roll
no,
out.
that's
And
different.
I can tell the man,
What do
I
you-
can tell a woman do that. So I can
About-
tell a guy this. Hold on. You see this woman, the same type of woman? That's a red flag. Roll out. Why you gotta have patience with her?
No, some things are not some things are not non-negotiables. It could be something that is easily changed. And it
And
depends
you
on the
feel that's
mindset.
easily changed? You feel that's easily
It
changed
depends
and
on what
independent?
aspect. No, it depends on what aspect of it. If you talk about, let's say how a female dresses. Maybe she's not as provocative, but she's not as conservative as he would like. That's something that could change. And depending on her mindset. If her mindset is, okay, baby, I put on a couple of pounds, I need to get a new wardrobe, so I could get clothes a little more loose or whatever. Give me some time, or you work with me, we can get that together. So if that is her mindset, not, this is what I got and this is what I wear, you meet me with this and you can
That's
meet me
it.
with
That's
this.
me to talk with
So I'm just saying it depends on the mindset and it depends on what it is, because not everything is worth losing a relationship for.
Oh, most definitely.
Right.
Most definitely, Cheryl. I hope I didn't. I hope I didn't come off meaning that just as he sees the sign, just roll
Yeah,
out.
you did. You kinda
no,
did.
No. I'm
Yes.
saying because you would have to develop that. You have to not develop. You have to pick up on that over time. That hey, this is her
Right.
character.
Right.
Not at the very first time she does
Okay.
it now. So I mean, no man, that's Cheryl. Come on, man. I ain't that bad. I ain't
I
that
don't know.
bad.
I was thinking more. Yes.
So, but so we both agree that that type of woman with that mindset, that independent woman should not be in a relationship until
See,
she
a guy
realizes.
a guy can pick up on somebody who has no intention of changing, and mostly the strong will tell you, I can change. You can take me the way I am, or you can just, some women will tell you that.
She's prepared to get a cat.
And that's fine for some women too, because they're easier to deal with.
Cats?
Yes, them guys, some guys. Anyway, yeah, I said what I said. Now, what I'm saying is, some women will tell you, and the thing though is, some guys feel like they could change a woman like that, even just like some women feel like they could change some guys. And I think when people tell us who they are, that we need to believe them, and if we can't handle them, we need to get the step in.
I shouldn't. I've never heard a guy try to change one of those type of women. Other women, he tried to get her to change, right? But for a woman who, this way I can always be in. He sticks around for something, but he in his mind he
Usually?
already know he ain't staying with this one because he could see that's trouble, right?
Okay.
So to say he's trying to change him now, some guys like those independent women who have those stuff, and we could touch on that too.
Okay.
That type of woman, because even though she is a handful, right, and she needs to be handled, some guys.
No adult needs to be.
No, I agree. Some guys kind of like that because, as I mentioned before, it's less for him. It's less responsibility for him.
Oh, I thought he liked the challenge.
Yeah, some do they say those crazy ones are firecrackers in the bedroom? that's
Who said that? Who said
That's what
that?
the guy say. I don't stick around.
Jason,
I don't
who are
know,
these
so I
people you're
wouldn't know.
talking to?
That's
I'm
the
a
word
little
on the
concerned.
street. That's the word on the street.
Well,
But
you know what they say about the streets.
yeah, stay off it.
That's not what I heard. We have a commercial break. We'll be right back.
Where you going, mate?
To go buy these tickets for the party tonight.
Why this boy so dumb?
Tickets242.com.
You know how hard it is?
They sell tickets for parties, concerts, plays, sporting events, everything.
You know how expensive bus is?
Well, if you just buy the tickets online, they could just send you it in the email. Then you could just print it off.
You know how strong mosquitoes is?
Or you could go to the box office downtown at the Genesis Street Gale.
You ain't scared of Joneses, eh?
We're back. We're back with the strong independent women, fact or fiction. We're talking about those women and relationships and are they good for any relationship? And we're going to jump right into the comments. Jay John says, you can't say you are in a relationship and not expect ground rules. Amen. Because she going to want to give rules. Well, listen, he say ground rules now. What? Then you could make up your own definition for independence, and the guy say ground rules. He can make up his definition for it too.
We're gonna set some ground rules.
That's right. Like you say, independent woman, ground rules.
A woman doesn't go into a relationship to be told what to do, where to go, who to hang out with. She's an adult, not your child, and her decisions should be respected unless they're unsafe ones.
And which woman
I
say
read that
she
in the
makes
tone in
unsafe?
which it was
Yeah,
said,
and which
so
woman
yes.
would say she makes unsafe decisions?
You
Go
don't
ahead.
have to.
Go ahead. Yes. Terrence Lord says, ladies take a different meaning when it comes to control and direction. Yes, they sure do. Everything is control. Once they hear no, they think you're controlling them. I wonder if they say that about God when God tell them no. Anyway.
Yes, Pinder, these men meet women in the club, for example. Then when they catch feelings or fall in love, they start expecting a church woman. It doesn't work like that, boo-boo.
No, it doesn't. Just like when y'all meet these fellas on the street and he got 10 different baby mummies
Why
and
is
then he
Jason
gone and then he
rebutting
gone right
everything?
there.
Jason,
Oh my gosh.
Can we
I
just
can't
take
say
a
nothing.
comment? No, because nobody's talking about that. This is what we're talking about.
She just said when they meet him in the street.
Yeah, so
She meet a guy in the street. If she, yes, I agree.
No, we're talking about women and whatever.
I agree with Prisca.
Are you agreeing? Because I'm hearing a whole lot of things
when he meet the gal,
you
you
that
can't. But
doesn't
they
have
say you
anything to do
can't
with-
make a garden tool a housewife. So you can't make when you
Never
meet
heard
these.
that. Let's go back to what Prisca said.
You want to go back to that?
Yeah, go back
Yes.
to what she say.
And that's all we're talking about. I don't know what Jason.
Don't add to it. Just agree and move on. Just agree and move on.
Yes.
Agree and move
So
on.
you meet her in the club and don't expect
How to change?
a church person.
Why not?
You know.
So we don't grow? We don't grow. We will
Well, you
stay
will
in the
grow-
muck
well,
all
you-
day, our
well,
life.
you will grow slowly, and you talk about
But
expectations.
she said, don't expect it. It don't work like that. That's what she say.
No, it doesn't work like that. You don't expect that right away. You don't expect
She ain't said
her
nothing but
to
right away. She
turn
said, don't
into-
start expecting a church woman.
Don't expect it unless that's what you guys talk about and that's where she's headed.
But
That's who you get.
Okay.
That's who you
So,
have.
and
That's
she
who you
shouldn't
should
expect her to change. She shouldn't expect her to grow, is what you're saying. He should expect the same mindset for the rest of her life because only their things don't grow.
Jason,
Go ahead.
listen to me carefully. Let's just stick with the point because you keep running far away from the point.
Good
And the
point.
point is trying to get a hold
I
of you.
agree with her. I agree with her.
All right, full
And then,
stop.
but I'm saying
Turn
she
his
should
mic off
not.
after he says, I agree with her. So we can get that.
She said, don't expect a person in a certain situation, then expect them to change, right?
Right.
And I said, okay, I agree. And the same manner,
Yes,
don't
no,
expect
that's the agree
guys, don't expect to meet a guy, you have 3 different baby mamas, then you go throw down a child for him and then you expect him to change. No. Don't expect it. Don't expect to meet him, run in the streets, and because you fall in love and you give him all this good love and you show him that you're faithful
What is
and all
this
this,
show topic again? I'm
and
sorry.
then expect him to now be this faithful guy.
We're talking
No.
about independent men. Are we talking about men? Who are we talking about?
I say in like manner. I'm not going to let you. A boundary is
same-
imposed on yourself.
Oh, now he's
Oh,
reading
no.
Prisca's comments.
A standard or a deal breaker for you. A boundary. Go ahead, Cheryl, read.
Oh, now you want me to read?
Because she's speaking in womenese right now.
Womenese.
She's speaking in womenese.
No, but before we got there, people change who they are for the person.
They shouldn't change for the person.
No,
They should change for
saying-
themselves.
Well, people change for a healthier relationship,
Right.
of course, and,
Makes better
that's
sense.
fine. And I think that's kind of what is expected. What she was saying, and I think that's what you're
That ain't
saying
what she said.
too.
That's what I was
No.
saying. If you want to be in a relationship with me, I let you know my rules, and if you don't know my
Rules?
yes, she said standards,
Boundaries.
boundaries, rules, all of these stuff.
No.
She said
what
when you
she's saying
impose them, it,
on other people,
it
right?
becomes a rule. Everybody has boundaries, standards, rules, preferences, whatever you want to name it, because we changing meanings, we changing
No,
definitions,
well,
because we
well,
could
I
give
don't know
definitions to
that
independent.
you-
So any one of those words are interchangeable.
Expectations.
Hold on, all those words are interchangeable.
No, you're
so
just
therefore,
twisting up
this is what it takes to be in a relationship with me. And if you don't agree with it, then You're fine.
And you call that a
to
rule?
lose.
It's an expectation.
No. Expectation, standards, boundaries,
not a rule.
rules, deal breakers, preferences. Use them as you wish. Whichever word makes you feel better, sound prettier, use it. But they have the same definition.
No, they don't.
Oh, gosh.
No, they don't.
Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. Do we have any more comments? So, we're back to, I could go back to my rant now because we finished with the...
Yes, feel free. I mean, what's going to stop you anyway, Jason?
That's right?
I'll just be over here drinking water.
sipping your tea. Cheryl, she is so disrespectful. But independent, the quote-unquote independent women who says, you can't come in, you meet me one way, I can change when I want, ready to change, don't expect this from me. That type of person isn't ready for a relationship.
They shouldn't be in a relationship.
They shouldn't be in a relationship.
No, I agree
because
with you on that.
you just coming in there doing what you want. So what's the person going to get from you? And then I'm sure that person, that independent person, has their own boundaries which they will want the person to follow.
In like manner.
In like manner.
Men don't say these things.
What?
They just do it.
Do what? Do what? Be specific.
Just a woman will say, and that's our problem. So we talk too much. We
You
will
do.
say, I'm sorry?
You do.
Jason,
Go
you
ahead.
talk more than I do on this show.
It's the show. I have to be
so-
clear. I'm
Right.
mansplaining to you all.
So let's be clear. This is a talk show. We talk here. As I was saying, a woman will say all of the things. I'm gonna, go where I want to go. I'm gonna do this, whatever. A man
But just do.
does it.
You just do.
Does it. And so the same kind of toxic behavior happens from men. It's just that we don't hear it. And maybe that's why we don't talk about it as often, because we don't hear it, but men just actually do these things.
Yeah.
And it's just as unacceptable
Yeah.
for
Yes,
women
so if he's
as
not-
it is for men.
Yes, but
Yes.
but like you said, we ain't talking about men. We talking about women. That's what you said.
Oh, I said.
So now you want to bring
I had
man
to
into it
remind
now.
you because you did. So
Oh, you
opened
want to bring
the
man
door.
into it now?
You
Oh,
set-
so
you
it's
set the
always about
precedence.
convenience.
No, you set the
It's always about
precedence.
convenience.
You set the
I set
precedence, and so I will follow suit.
Listen.
I'm allowing you to lead today, Jason. The man
You
leads, and
she's
here it is.
allowing me to lead.
I am following.
Yes. Very good.
Yes.
So
Yes. But people in general who want to be independent should not be in
No,
relationships.
no,
Yes.
you shouldn't.
Should not
Because
be in a
independence, to be in a relationship actually means
You have to
you're
be
dependent on
dependent,
another
yes.
person, right? For something. So if you
Yes.
want to claim your independence, just stay on your own
Right.
and you still ain't independent.
However,
You still ain't independent.
though, the person who has been independent for some time and wants to be in a relationship just has to understand that once, or even prepare themselves, because you can have people who have to be independent now, financially independent. They have to be self-sufficient financially in many other ways. They have to understand and prepare themselves even for that prior to getting into a relationship, because the timeline on changing habits may not be conducive to someone else having to be patient with you. So this is it's a mentality that has to be changed.
Most definitely
Even before
so.
you get there.
Most definitely so. So the person, because we're talking about women, I can say she now has to realize, hold on, if I want a successful relationship, I have to work on me before I go to this guy to fix me.
Right.
I mean, because he can't fix him. She has to fix herself. And she
Right.
has to want to be fixed. And that's why it brings me back. Do strong, independent women actually want to be fixed? Because from what I heard, that's a badge of honor. From when I hear them speaking it, they're wearing it as a badge of honor. I'm strong. I'm independent. I don't need a man for nothing. So, do they even want to change?
Some people don't.
So, they should just
Some
be
people
left.
don't, and I think that's the group that we haven't talked about much. The group of women who want to be independent, want to remain without a man, or as a matter of fact, there are women who feel if they need the services of a man, they can source those
Oh,
services
definitely.
and still maintain their independence.
Most definitely.
In terms of having a man for convenience.
Yes, definitely.
And men are so willing to fit that bill, because they know that they don't have to do
Strings
anything else.
attached. That's
Yeah.
what I said. There are men out there who actually look for those type of women, those independent women, because it takes the responsibility off of them,
Off
having
of
to
them.
provide so much things.
Or
But-
even having to be in a relationship because
Correct.
these women are not even looking for a
Right.
relationship.
And so these men aren't good to anybody.
Right.
But but those are the same men, the same women, the same men that women would class all men by. You know, they say all men are like that. No, I don't even consider that a man. He's an adult male.
Right.
So, but that's the set who just want an easy life. Those ones who were sheltered by their mom, so now they're looking for somebody else who fit that bill.
But
So
I-
they love those strong, independent women because those strong,
Right.
independent, she got her own thing. That's why I love her.
Miss Independent. Anyway, but Jason, men have been doing this for so long though, and I think this movement for women to think that we can be like men, act like men, and that kind of thing, because men have been doing that for so many years, just doing them, taking care. They have been independent, and they have used the services of a woman where they want without the strings attached, or being in a relationship with women, and they can move on from one woman to the next and maintaining their independence. And so women are now feeling like they can do the same thing.
Men don't claim independence. It's just free. They're just free.
Well, it's
and they can't
independence.
be,
We're
and they
playing with
can't
words
do
still.
these things without the women being willing participants.
That same thing applies as men are today.
Women allowing them to do it. They say you find a donkey, ride it. And that goes straight across the board.
No,
Women
what
find
I'm
them, men
saying
find them.
is
And
because that has been a man's thing.
not a woman won't do it.
So now the tables have turned in just about every area of our lives these days. Like everything that we know to be normal, a lot of things are the opposite of what we're used to.
And so the Bible is just being fulfilled.
Right.
But
yes, so women are doing that now. I'm
don't
not
think-
saying it's right, but it's what's happening.
But I don't think men really, at least those type of men, have a problem with it. Those type of men don't have a problem with all women doing this because it just makes it easier for them. We're just talking about now, how does that benefit the strong, independent women? It don't benefit them. They think they're winning, but they're losing because in the end, they end up with their cats and their AA batteries, or is it AAA batteries? I don't know which one to use. But anyway, they losing because in the end of the day, when they become an old woman and now they want to settle down, hey, who's going to take them? It's easier for an older guy to find a woman than for an older woman to find a guy to settle down. It's easier. I don't say it's easy for both, but I know it's easier for a man to do that. So these strong, independent women, in the end, they lose. They're losing. They're the losing ones. The ones who want to be that way. Now, we have a group of women.
I don't know that and we don't know that women who want to be independent now, that later on they will change their mind and want to be
we don't think-
and want
listen,
to be
we
with
know-
a man. I
listen.
don't know that that's true.
Listen to me, Cheryl. People double down when they're wrong. Oh, gonna be admitting, no, I was wrong. I wish I could go back in time. No, they gotta double down, boy. I make this choice and I can stick with it. And then the night they crying, the cat meowing, and the cat and some else machine grrring too at the same time. So, but
Wow.
Cheryl, listen,
Wow.
man, what I gonna say? Okay, let me go back.
Yes.
We have a group of women out there who are independent, who don't want to be in that position. Those go-getters, like you said, the ones who actually, because of circumstances, life happened, a divorce, sickness, something, take their spouse and force them.
Some
now
women
to
are
be-
independent, Jason, are now independent because there aren't any good men
Oh, there are good men out there.
that
Cheryl.
are.
Stop it.
I'm not saying there aren't.
You say aren't any good
there
men.
aren't. I wasn't done.
Go ahead.
There aren't any good men available to them.
That's
Yes.
not true.
Yes,
That's
it
not
is true.
Plenty good men out there.
There are many good men
Y'all
out
just
there,
gotta,
way
they
out
just have
there.
to change their
They-
preferences up. Because it's a good man, he ain't come in the package that they're looking for. They dismiss him. Plenty good men in the friend zone. Many good men in the friend zone. Stop it.
No,
Stop it.
No, they don't exist.
Every woman got men in their friend zone. And that's a good man but oh, I see him like a brother. Oh, I don't see him that way. But that's a good man.
No.
But because he ain't a good man packaged in the present that he didn't come in the package y'all want. Now I
No,
have to
that's
say
not
there's no
so.
good man out there. Because all other women looking for that same man in that same package.
That's not true. That is not
Anyway,
true.
let
You
me
guys
go,
are
let me
so
go back
stay
on
off
to
the top, stay off
to
that
the
topic
women
because you don't know
who
anything
are
about that.
independent by not by choice. But we'll dive into that right after this commercial break.
Yo, what's up, Bahamas? My name is Andrew Williams, aka Cat,
And I'm your boy Mix.
and we're representing Off the Bench, the #1 talk sportcast in the Bahamas.
In the world, my boy.
My bad partner. So
Yeah.
we cover anything sports throughout the Bahamas. We cover our Bahamian athletes wherever they are, and they're making waves in sports. We cover them.
Hey, just tune in to us every Wednesday here on Superior Talk at 6 o'clock p.m. Sharp.
The #1 talk show in the
In the
world.
world, Craig.
You asked and I delivered. Island-ish is back. The podcast you guys have known to love, to like to call in, to like to interact with. We are officially back. For the ones that don't know me, this is your girl Yams. Hearing me on Mix 102.1 FM or your favorite TGF_Yams. With the 2 S's, we're back with Island-ish right here on Superior Talk. So make sure you're following the page. We're going live this Thursday, 6 p.m. Don't miss it. Follow us. It's about to get lit.
Welcome back. And I really hope you all didn't catch that part of the show. I really hope we were muted. So anyway, we good. So we back and we're about to talk about the women who are independent not by choice. Those who became independent by circumstance. And those women, there are those women out there who, for some reason, they had a lousy husband who just pick up and leave because he didn't want the responsibilities. Or maybe her husband might have died. Some reasons like that. So now this woman, she has to be resourceful and provide
Yes.
for her family. You know, and that right there, I don't call her independent because I don't even think she would call herself independent. She would call herself strong and resourceful because she knows, she's smart enough to know that to where to go and get the resources she needs, the help she needs. She wouldn't call herself independent because that woman is wise. She knows she's not independent. She knows she depends on somebody for something. Whether it's
You
and
just
she
have a
depends on
problem
a
with the
man.
word independent?
She depends on a man, and it might not be for romance.
The
It
word
just be
independent is not a negative word.
For like you said,
I don't know why Jason is
fixing
trying to
things
make
around
it
the house.
to be a negative word. It's not a negative word, you know, Jason.
Listen,
So please don't go
The true
home
word,
and cross it out of your dictionary.
like
It is
accountability,
not.
accountability, and
it's not a
submission,
negative word.
and all that stuff. Right? We have some comments we'll read right away. Right? Jay John says the same way the man would be expected to conduct himself in a certain way with boundaries of his own now in place once in a relationship. Yeah, for a woman too. So I guess he's off of Prisca, I guess. Unless you are friends with benefits, there would be no need for any levels of boundaries. Correct. I agree.
What?
Unless you are friends with benefits, there ain't no need for boundaries. What you need boundaries for?
What?
If you're all just friends with benefits.
Oh. I don't think that's what he's saying.
Oh, that ain't what he say? I read that wrong. Sean says, don't give what you want to receive.
What you don't want to receive.
Okay.
Ain't nothing new under the sun.
That
And
is
I
so
agree,
true.
yes.
That is so true.
I agree
That's
a
for
lot.
both parties.
Yes.
Right.
When you say quote unquote independent women, you are dismissing a huge segment of society that is present and real. And it is quite offensive, but carry on.
Listen, if you all listen to me, hold on. Let me clear this up. I'm not trying to offend anybody, but there's a word. Look up the word independent for me, please, and tell me the definition of it.
Oh,
That's what I'm
Jason.
going by. So I'm
You
not,
and your rules can kick rocks.
yes, definitely.
No adult should have a rule for an equal partner.
Yes, sir.
Rules are for subordinates.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And that is correct.
Listen.
Rules are for subordinates.
Listen, there's like I said, you can choose the word how you want to use it. Rules,
So be
boundaries,
independent and
preferences.
stay single.
Whatever. Choose whichever one of those words but sounds better to you. But
No,
all
we
have the
will
same
choose
meaning.
the one that applies to the situation. J. John, you want to read that?
J. John says, so be independent and stay single.
Yeah, that's what we said
That's
earlier.
what we
If you're
said.
independent, yes, independent women or independent men should stay single. Because some men are, they
Hey,
like I said,
stick
they
on
act,
comment. You
they
just
act
say, let's stick to the comments. Stay to the comments. You don't know how to follow your own rules, you know.
Okay, Jason.
You always, you're something
there
with your
it is, the
woman
rules
today.
again.
Just benefit. You know, it's
Jason is putting his foot
benefit
down.
for y'all. Is you know, I'm the weaker one, but when it's time to make the rules, I'm the strong one. But if I need protecting, oh, use the man, you go do.
Should I read the comment
Go
now,
ahead.
or you're still
Go
before
ahead.
me?
I still on my soapbox. I off now.
It's the men who are complaining about independent women, though. Independent women aren't having these conversations about men because they can see through it, gaslighting and nonsense. See through the gaslighting and nonsense, and that is true. I don't think women don't sit around and talk about this. And lousy men, add lousy men to the list of reasons why some women are independent too.
We did say that before. We did say that before. She had a bad experience with men, but force her to be independent or want to be independent.
Right. We did say that.
Godfrey Pinder says, you guys have a way of connecting with and holding audiences. It's always a pleasure to watch the interplay of your differing views and personalities. Thank you, Godfrey. Thank you. Glad to have you here. Glendina, read that again.
Pender, please kick your co-host in the gonads for me, please.
Violence. She's choosing violence.
I will during the commercial
She's
break.
choosing violence, and I wonder how that would come off if a man come and say, Jason, please go over there and slap Cheryl. Oh, lock him up. See this what do you call double standard? Y'all? Anyway.
Oh, here you go. Okay, somebody's lotioning here.
Cheryl always seems to be solid and confident in her opinions, but it pretty much always seems to find myself siding with Jason because you know sense. You know sense when you see it and you hear it.
That's one person.
That's what that means.
That's one person, Jason.
Yeah. J. John, taking off no rules or boundaries, that's fine. And yes, you are an adult that can live without. But will find themselves all old, alone, and toxic. That's correct.
Excuse me.
Correct.
Why do you think that if a woman is independent, that she's not all independent women are toxic? And if a woman decides to be alone, why does that make her toxic?
Why is she deciding to be alone?
If she decides to be alone, she can take care of herself. She prefers to have her life that way. She chooses her life that way. Why does that make her toxic?
Women like myself are forced to think independently because we have been disappointed so many times by men who do not take their rightful place and who do what is asked or required. So she's putting her boundaries on the man she's dating, right? She put boundaries on him, right? And he didn't live up to it,
right?
So she made him kick rocks.
Right.
She put the rules down for him and he didn't take it, right?
I alluded to this earlier, is that there's some women who choose to be independent because they don't want to make a bad choice with men.
Independence has been used as a coping mechanism. Ooh.
And that is true.
Ooh.
Something that supports your argument. You're excited.
No argument. I'm wondering how you feel about it. I ain't saying nothing.
I agree with that.
Okay,
I agree with that. See, I'm open-minded.
It is really entertaining how you guys contend with issues from both sides of tough issues. Thank you, Godfrey. So, but when the women put up standards, boundaries, rules, whatever her preferences are, it's not viewed in a negative light. But the minute a guy does that, he's trying to control or he's trying to rule an adult or something like that. Why is it viewed that way? That's that Jezebel spirit that reigns in some of our women.
Well, sometimes it is viewed that way, but I wouldn't go and say it's always viewed that way. And like I said before, and like I said before, because men have a tendency of waiting until they're halfway. Some men. Some men. Oh my gosh, Jason!
Wow. When I do it.
We don't have much time left for the show. May I get my point? Can I get my point across?
Producer, just let us run it because this is entertaining for our guests.
No, I'm not trying to entertain. I'm trying to share my opinion. I forget what I was trying to say.
Oh, wow, really?
Yes, like I said, women, we normally express ourselves. Mm-hmm. From the beginning of the relationship, we express ourselves. Mm-hmm. Men, usually, they don't express themselves until you already cemented in the relationship. And so a lot of times it's disappointing because many times a woman would think, okay, we've been together all this time and you felt this way and you never said anything. So now this is when you want to bring up these boundaries, and a lot of times it's not said in a very in a way positive, that it's well received.
Okay,
yes.
I could give you that sometimes, because it does happen sometimes. I would never make a general statement say all women let people know from the beginning. Some women do.
And you can start controlling in how you...
Some women do and some women don't. Some men say and some men don't. And for those who don't, they should say. But one thing with men, some men, they sit and they're waiting and observing. So they give you the chance to present yourself and stay still now observing to see who this woman is. And if it takes a week, 2 weeks, a month, then they come and say, well, okay, now, I've been noticing this. Such and such is the case. Oh, why you say this from Jump Street? Oh, because it was in my place in Jump Street. I didn't have that foothold now. Now it seems like we're going somewhere. Now I'm setting boundaries. Now you want to try to control me? You meet me this way. Now, this way. It wasn't a problem when we met.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a problem. I just
that
didn't have,
conversation,
it wasn't
yeah.
a problem, but it was a problem, but
Right.
I didn't have no, who am I? Just
Right.
meeting you to come
I
here
didn't
to
feel
put this,
right.
you know?
Yeah.
So, can't win for losing. And rather than taking
You're
it
right.
in a
Sometimes
sense,
that happens, yes.
rather than taking it in a sense as, okay, he's saying this from a good place.
Right.
Right? Rather than taking that because she wants a relationship too, because that's why she's with him. Why
Right.
not take it from that perspective? Okay, rather than taking the offensive, let me see. Let me put himself, or just get clarity, rather than jumping on.
That would be the wise thing to do, yes.
Right. And rather than jump, and independent women, listen, if you want a relationship, kick them rocks, kick that mentality to kick rocks with that. Because you cannot.
Who told you to kick rocks?
I don't know. She used the word twice. Tell me, go. No, she said kick rock. They kicked me in the gonads.
Yeah, I'll be doing that in the
Very
commercial break.
very violent woman. Violence. We don't condone it. We don't. But you cannot have this mentality, this mindset, that I'm strong and I'm independent,
I don't
and
need
then
a man.
still want to be, and I don't need a man. And then when the man come to you, or that type of man who will allow you to be that way, come to you, and you don't want that man because he's a pushover, then you complain. But then when the strong man comes, because there only can be one hair, when he comes, because he coming with boundaries now, because he conducts himself with boundaries. Oh, now he's trying to control me. You cannot have it both ways, ladies. Either you want the guys who you can control, or you can get a guy who can control us, who can have a relationship, who can set boundaries,
for a
who's
healthy
going to
relationship.
lead. You understand? So you can't have it both ways. You cannot build a man. That man coming to you built, and y'all can work together and y'all grow together. And for the women who are disappointed by the men they chose, again, they chose. They gotta choose from a different pot. Look at the difference, because apparently, all this, you're being disappointed by men. All men aren't the same. All women aren't the same.
Correct.
So you can't say, you can't blame your independence on all men. Blame your independence on the men you've chosen. And if you want a different outlook, you have to change where you're looking. You have to change the different type of men you're looking at. Like I say, look right in your friend zone. That same one.
No.
Who you think?
Don't.
See, Cheryl say no.
If you're friends, you're friends. Leave those ones alone.
See there, and then they can say, good men out there. No, ain't no good men in the pockets you want out there. Because that package what you looking at,
come on.
that package
Good
what you
men
looking
are
at,
limited.
Cheryl, the
Limited
package you
to
looking at, I
find.
guarantee
Yes,
you give that
they're-
description of the man you looking for. I ain't gonna make no percentage. The majority of women looking for that same one.
No,
The majority of women looking for that same one.
Right, and that's why
So
it's limited.
change your outlook.
I'm sorry. The kind of
That's
man
superficial.
that most women look for, it's not what's on the outside, it's what's on the inside.
How those fellas get in the friend zone?
Pardon me?
Anyway, let's not make it
Yeah,
about you.
seriously.
Let's not make it
Oh.
about you. Go ahead. Continue. Go ahead.
Anyway.
Cheryl, they like to pretty it up, okay?
No.
Saved by the bell.
Say, but the bell is after 7. Let me out of here.
Welcome to Let's Talk Caller. You alive?
Jason,
Yes, ma'am.
just want to make a comment on your friend's comment. I have to agree with it. And I'm not being biased. I promise, I'm not being biased.
That's fine.
But when you consider that friend zone, when you consider that a friendship, I've always heard y'all say that in these relationships, you should be friends first. You should learn each other. You should understand each other. You should respect each other. And all of those are components of a good friendship. In a relationship, they can only become stronger. So that when there are infractions from either side, be it the man or the woman, if the respect and the trust and the love of the friendship is stronger than the butterflies, and that relationship is more likely to survive, because you want to hold on to that this is the person that I share my hopes with, my dreams, my fears, and all of those things. This is my friend. This is my best friend. I don't want to lose that person. And you are more likely to be forgiving to your friend than you are to somebody who is just a lover. And I'll leave that there.
Agreed. But
Yes.
Paula, I agree with you. When I said they should look in their friend zone for the good men, women don't want to run. Usually the men they have in their friend zone are the men they rejected. They're the men that they say, oh, he's not meeting whatever standard they were looking for. They put them in the friend zone. So they don't discount the men. They don't get rid of the men altogether. They keep them as friends, but they see them and say, oh, I only see him as a friend. And I'm saying those are the good men right there that Cheryl saying don't exist. Those are the good men that they need to look at.
Now, mind you, Jason, the reality is that usually those friendships, when you decide if you decide to look at that friend in another light, you are trifling, because that friendship, you don't want to, what's the word I want?
Jeopardize it, more or less.
Exactly. Thank you, Cheryl.
Yeah.
You don't want to jeopardize it. So if your intent is to not be focused and with good intent toward that friendship, in making it something more, if that is a possibility, then leave it alone. Because
understood.
you could very well lose a very good friend.
Understood, but we're talking about not finding good men.
No, but you can't necessarily, just because the person is a friend doesn't mean that you can have that connection.
Hold on, you can make that connection. See,
no, Jason, you.
Okay. I was just trying to disprove to you that good men are out there.
She said out there. I'm just saying, for the number of good women who are looking, I don't believe.
And they always call yourself good, and they all don't even be good, you know.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, and so just one more point.
You see why you've been threatened twice?
Strong women and the independent ones. There are strong, like when you read Proverbs 31.
Yes.
She is a strong woman.
Resourceful.
Very.
And
she's all of those things.
And she's not independent. She would never call herself independent.
She may not. However.
Okay, that's all I'm saying.
Even
but she could be.
Independent women, when they encounter the relationship or the man that they want to hold on to, even they will conform.
Exactly.
What the expectation is of that man in order to make it work.
Absolutely. I agree 100%.
Okay.
Great show tonight.
Thank you so much, caller.
Thank you for calling. Yes.
Thanks.
I agree with that comment 100%.
Yeah.
The only, and I know you're gonna try to say something, Jason, untoward. But the only the women who claim that they don't want anybody who they stand strong on that. But women who are independent for other reasons and who want to be in a relationship, but they are independent because that is their present situation. Like the caller is saying, when the situation changes or that man is around or comes around, then she will adapt.
Mind you, I can agree to an extent, but those type of independent women don't go around wearing that independence as a badge.
No, they don't. I agree.
So because she really already knows that, hey, she wants more out of life than this current situation.
Right.
And she realizes that wearing that as a badge is a turn off and sometimes can be a toxic trait. So she would
I don't know about a toxic trait.
She would be resourceful. She continue to be resourceful. She continue to be able to take care of herself.
Take care of herself and live in her reality.
Lean on right. But she also knows that says that, hold on,
I would like to be with someone, and when that time comes,
I would like to be led, or I'd like to have a partner who respects me and we can build together.
Right.
But I know he'll be the leader.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
So I guess that's a good way to wrap up.
To wrap it up, yes.
So strong, independent women.
Next week we'll be talking about independent men.
That even
Do
a
they
topic.
exist?
That even a topic. We can we can talk about women, cougars. Why do they go after young women?
Sake. We're not going to
We
be
can
talking
talk
about
about
that.
Next
But
time on Let's
It was
Talk.
very.
Thank
Good
you
night,
for joining us tonight,
everybody.
guys. Have a good evening.
What kind of wrap up was that? My gosh, that's the